Right now, India is pouring capital into a massive, multi-decade overhaul of its ports, inland waterways, and coastal logistics. Allocating that capital is the easy part. The real bottleneck is the brutal physical friction of moving millions of cubic meters of earth, sand, and solid rock to actually reshape the coastline. The heavy marine industry is a high-risk environment with punishing capital requirements, where government funding meets the unforgiving realities of the open ocean. Success in this environment requires an operational machine built specifically to solve high-friction, mission-critical engineering problems. Knowledge Marine and Engineering Works, or KMEW, has positioned itself specifically to capture this exact infrastructure cycle. This chart shows Standard heavy industry operating margins compared to KMEW's recent performance. While typical marine contractors operate on thin margins, KMEW recently posted a 28% surge in revenue, alongside a towering 38% EBITDA margin. Generating margins that high in a capital-intensive sector proves they are efficiently extracting value from these government contracts and building a deep operational moat. Securing the highest value maritime contracts requires operating the most specialized, extreme heavy machinery available. The River Pearl 47 is India's largest and deepest self-propelled backhoe dredger, equipped with a massive 12 cubic meter bucket capacity and capable of excavating at depths up to 30 meters. That hardware was put to the test during their Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority contract. The mandate required clearing underwater pinnacles made of ultra-hard rock, with a compressive strength exceeding 170 megapascals. Breaking material that dense requires executing underwater controlled blasting alongside high-precision drilling operations. Crews had to operate at depths up to 16 meters to blast and extract over 10,500 cubic meters of solid rock. Executing this level of high-friction engineering separates KMU from standard commodity dredging companies. By proving they can manage ultra-hard rock extraction at one of the country's busiest ports, they secure their position at the front of the line for future technically intensive national projects. Operating specialized hardware on the open water exposes a company to wild swings in the highly cyclical shipping market. To insulate themselves from that volatility, KMU actively converts their immediate operational wins into extended, predictable revenue streams. Their primary engine for this stabilization strategy is the Green Tug Transition Program. They recently secured major contracts to provide zero-emission tugs for the Visakhapatnam and V.O. Chidambaram port authorities, worth hundreds of crores combined. This chart tracks typical shipping market revenue fluctuations. KMEW bypasses that volatility by ensuring these specific green tug contracts are locked in for 15-year charter agreements. Securing a decade and a half of guaranteed cash flow re-engineers their risk profile, providing absolute financial resilience in a notoriously unpredictable industry. Maintaining that physical hardware and fulfilling those decade-long contracts requires an immense amount of continuous capital. Their solution comes from the early strategic adoption of the government's tonnage tax scheme. Under this federal initiative, shipping companies are taxed based on the total tonnage of their fleet, rather than their operating profit, which drastically improves overall capital efficiency. They are taking that optimized capital and deploying it immediately, acquiring 15 acres of land near the upcoming Vodafone port to construct a massive new shipyard facility. Pairing the tax efficiency of a growing fleet with 15 years of guaranteed contract revenue creates a self-sustaining financial flywheel, aggressively funding their future expansion. Today, KMU operates as a highly integrated, end-to-end maritime solutions platform. They manage an operational fleet of over 45 vessels and a specialized workforce exceeding 500 personnel. The market validation for this expansion is clear. Over a single year, they secured an incredible 1,075 crores in total order wins. They actively supply the heavy machinery and exact engineering expertise necessary to physically build India's maritime investment cycle. By combining extreme underwater hardware with 15-year revenue guarantees and aggressive tax reinvestment, KMU has laid the exact blueprint for India's next billion-scale maritime enterprise.